a virtual currency, which we all use and which we all believe in, and which we all know that it's not a tangible currency, yet we believe in its value and we know that it works. And Kenya is one of the global leaders when it comes to e-money. Now, in the last over 1 decade, then we got introduced into the fourth revolution, which is basically the blockchain revolution. And that is the space we are in right now. And we thank God that at this point in time, we can be able to have conversations around blockchain revolution, because as we know today, the current crop of billionaires in the world are actually products of the digital revolution. Just before this call, I actually went through the list of the top 10 richest people on the planet as of January 2021. And what I found is very interesting. Out of the top 10 people, 6 of them are all in the technology space. And it's only one who is in the space of industrialization. This the 10th guy, Mukesh Ambani, who we all know, the richest man in India. The others, the top six, the other six are products of the digital revolution. And what is even more interesting is that out of the top five, when you narrow yourself down to the top five, 4 of them are all products of the digital revolution. And that should tell you the significant role the technology plays today. None of the top 10 richest people, not even a single one of them, is in the space of real estate. None of them is in the space of oil and mining and all that stuff. They are products of technology. And therefore, it is my personal belief that the next crop of billionaires in the world and millionaires in the world are going to come from from the blockchain technology. And that is why it's very exciting for us to be having this conversation. And also, if you just paid a bit of attention to those top guys, you are going to see a very interesting pattern. For example, let me take Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates, who happen to be in the list of the top five. Both of them have a history where they came up with this innovation and they went out and shared this idea with as many people as they possibly could. But only a few of the many people they shared with made them what they are today. For example, Bill Gates shared his idea with 1,100 people. Out of that, only 11 of those people made him the billionaire he is. But the interesting thing is that the 11 are also billionaires. Mark Zuckerberg invited 24 people into his dorm room when he conceived the whole idea of Facebook as a serious application. Out of that, only 3 showed up. They are all billionaires. And therefore, even as we're going to continue sharing with as many people as possible this idea, but we hope that everybody who is going to hear what we are talking about today will be very open-minded, because you do not want to later regret that you ever listened when you were being told. This idea is still very new, and it still it hasn't gotten to a saturation stage. So we all stand an equal opportunity to completely and entirely change our lives and emerge among the top people who will be mentioned, maybe in our nations or in our continent or on the planet, as products of this technology. Now, just to help you understand what blockchain technology is, in the simplest terms, it can be described as a data structure that holds transactional records while ensuring security, transparency, and decentralization. And that element of decentralization is everything, guys, because the internet-based applications as they are today, they all come with a centralization where data has to be stored in some server somewhere, which basically gives a few people full access to the information. The creators of those applications, they have full access to that data and that information, and that is why you find them flagging accounts for people they don't like, or if they feel somebody is not doing the right thing, they can flag you or they can delete you, or a hacker can hack in and have access to anybody's account. But on blockchain, the data is distributed across the entire network and there is no central server somewhere, which means that then it becomes very difficult or impossible to hack or cheat the system, or to even change a program that is already running on blockchain, because of that element of decentralization. The other most important thing to take note of is that you can also think of it as a chain of records stored in the forms of blocks, which are controlled by no single authority. And that element of lack of control is actually going to be the biggest advantage this technology is going to have in the coming years, because as we know life today, those of you who could have been exposed a bit to some corporates, you've been hearing about the whole idea of big data. There's a time when big data was such a big deal, and what institutions like banks, like hotels, like basically where we spend our money, what they did with the big data is they basically collected information about you, about your spending patterns and your spending habits, and as a result, they are able to use that information to target you, maybe to cross-sell you products which you don't even intend to take. But in essence, what that tells you is somebody knows more about you than you know about yourself. And today I had a presentation, I was telling somebody, you will see Facebook reminding you of what you did 3 years ago, or the last restaurant you visited last year, which you as a person you cannot even remember. So what does that mean? Internet-based applications, they ended up giving more power to other people about your life more than you have it yourself. You cannot remember the last time maybe you swiped your card somewhere, but your bank can remember that. And the bank is using that information to study you and analyze you to figure out where to place you. Yet you cannot remember that. And as people discovered that that is what is happening with the whole aspect of big data, they started shifting from internet-based applications to where we are right now, and it's just a matter of time until everybody moves into blockchain. So we need to be in that space and to figure out where are the opportunities. Now, blockchain can be applied in anything as we know it. It can be applied in financial systems, billing systems, it can be applied in healthcare systems, it can be applied in voting, in land registry. I mean, it's gonna be applied in so many spaces. But for us, we are more interested in the money space. Just like any other revolution that we have talked about, every revolution comes with its own money that can operate within its environment. And just like the digital era came with the M-Pesa kind of currencies, blockchain also brought with it cryptocurrencies. And of course, we know the most popular cryptocurrency is Bitcoin. And the whole purpose or the whole idea was to create a currency that, number one, would beat inflation because there is limited supply, but also a currency that will not be controlled by any single authority. The reason why your normal currency loses value is because it is controlled by an authority. Kenya shilling is controlled by CBK. The dollar is controlled by the Fed. The pound is controlled by the Bank of England. And because they have that control, they can choose when they want to print more money or recall money, which means that currency is subject to elements of deflation. But Bitcoin, because of its limited supply, will over time beat inflation, because as more people move into this technology, they will require the Bitcoin, but supply is limited. Then the second most popular cryptocurrency is what we call Ethereum. And this is actually the area of our key interests. Ethereum, number one, is a currency. Number two, is an open source platform. And as people move on to blockchain, they will be needing this platform, because that's where they'll be able to create what is called decentralized digital applications. For example, if Facebook wants to move from the internet as we know it today to blockchain, they will need to create an application called Facebook on blockchain, and they most probably use Ethereum. So over time, Ethereum is going to have so much usage, and that is why right now we are more interested in what is going on around that space and how can we take advantage of it. Now, the latest release from the World Economic Forum shows that they are projecting that the usage of this technology is going to grow by almost 300,000%. And that is a figure, guys, you need to keep in your mind, because I mean, I don't know if really anybody has tried to really reason with that figure to understand what exactly that means. Think about 7 billion people. By the time all of them migrate, just like when the internet came, of course, some people took forever, but eventually almost everybody migrated. By the time we all migrate to this, what will that mean? What exactly will that mean? Now, obviously, one of the most famous people on the planet who has managed to maintain his rank in the list of the top 10 richest people is Warren Buffett, and he has endorsed this idea, and he has said this idea is ingenious, and that's very significant for us because we all know this guy never adopted the internet revolution. His model of business today is as it was in the 60s. So for him to endorse this idea, clearly there's something for us which we just need to figure out, because the future can only be bright. Now, anytime a product is being launched in the market, it basically goes through the three key stages, which is the innovation stage, the takeoff, and the saturation stage. The last 10 years or the last 1 decade, blockchain has been here. It's been going through a lot of innovation. A lot of people have tried and tested many applications, and now we are at the stage of taking off. And this is where millionaires and billionaires are made. If you're going to wait until to adopt this technology when it's in the middle or towards the saturation stage, hey, it's like you today waking up and saying you're going to build an application on internet expecting to become a billionaire. It's going to be such an uphill task. But if you can grab this opportunity and this idea now, and you make sure you run with it and you entrench yourself in it, in the next 7 or so years to come, your life, I can tell you, will never be the same again. Now, at the moment, there are over 8,884 cryptocurrencies, and with a market capitalization of over $1.8 trillion, guys. And out of that, you can see Bitcoin controls 60% of it, and Ethereum controls 11.6%, which basically tells you what? These two cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Ethereum, they are commanding more than 73% of the market share. Now, the size of Bitcoin today is about $1.1 trillion, and the size of Ethereum is at $209 billion at the point of takeoff. And we all know Elon Musk, the richest man on the earth, is very keen on this space. He has invested, about a month ago, he invested $1.5 billion. And we also know that he issued a declaration that if you want to buy vehicles from Tesla, you can pay him with your cryptocurrencies. And we also know that he has changed his title from CEO of Tesla to the Techno King. Now, that is a very weighty statement, which you need to think about. Now, if you put things into perspective, at the moment, the size of the economy of Africa is projected to be at around $2.3 trillion, and that of Kenya is at $101 billion. Now, look at the size of Bitcoin. $1.1 trillion is exactly at the half mark of the entire wealth of Africa, guys. Look at the size of Ethereum. It can buy Kenya twice over. In essence, it can buy Kenya, buy Tanzania, buy Uganda, and buy half of Rwanda. We've done the math. Now, if we are talking about that kind of an economy that is open to us because it's purely decentralized, and we are saying this economy is at our disposal. It doesn't matter who your father was or where you grew up, you have full access to this economy just like everybody else on the planet. Let this opportunity not pass you, guys, because a day will come when you be grateful that you listened. Now, when you come into this space, it's also good to know that there are loopholes where you can lose money, and there are also opportunities where you can make money. In brief, I'm going to take you through where the major loopholes are. One of the things is if you participate in tokens. Tokens are just premature coins which are issued in anticipation that when they hit the market, they will take off. The challenge here is it's just like buying a house off plan. I mean, we all know Kenya is notorious for off-plan projects. They might not take off. So if you have invested your money, you have nobody to blame. So this is just about self-education to help us know what to do and what not to do. The other one is mining, which we all know used to be very lucrative and it's a very genuine business. But then again, we all know it's very capital intensive. It consumes a lot of power, which is something Jeff Bezos is having a lot of issues with. So today, I mean, only the biggest of the biggest can run this kind of business because they can be able to invest big monies. So a lot of us who invested with some of the companies that came around here telling us to mine, we all know today we are earning $0.8 if you're lucky. Most were actually went under because they could no longer compete with the big shots. And then, of course, there is the return on investment programs, which you need to be very careful about. Anytime you hear somebody tell you, put your money here, somebody else will work on it and give you 1 or 2, 3%, whatever they promise you. You just need to know we are in a decentralized environment where there is no single authority that oversees it. So it's very easy for people to go with your money. Now, on the other hand, there are major opportunities this technology is bringing with it. And one of it is you learn how to trade price. So when Bitcoin goes up, you buy low, sell high, and you can make a lot of money, but you need to invest in that skill. The other one is where you can go upfront and buy the assets and hold them. Now, for example, let's say if you had bought a Bitcoin in 2014, the value was less than $100. Today, one is almost $60,000. If you knew what you know now, you can imagine how much money you have made. But then look at the duration. You need a lot of time to give the assets time to appreciate, and you have to be willing to go through the market volatility, which is normal. The other thing with buying and holding is once you buy a coin today, 2 years later, you still be worth one coin. It's good because the value will appreciate, but what if there was a better way? And that better way is what we are about to discuss tonight. And we're talking about smart contracts on Ethereum. Remember, we said Ethereum is an open source platform. In the last 10 years, one of the products that has been tried and tested a lot on Ethereum are smart contracts. And now we can start to interact with some which have been fully developed and they are properly working. And the whole idea of investing in a smart contract is because number one, it's giving us the power of multiplication as opposed to buying and holding. It gives us giving us the power of multiplication, and number two, it can enable us to acquire these assets even when you don't have a lot of capital. So before I go into that, let's just look at the simplest definition of a smart contract, and you can Google this information, is free of charge. And in simplest terms, a smart contract is a programming code that is self-operating. So in essence, we are not dealing with any companies here. We are interacting directly with technology. Somebody programs it, tells it what it should do, deploys it on technology, on blockchain, and that's it. So there is no company to run it. You cannot stop it, you cannot hack it, because remember we said because of decentralization, it's going to be duplicated in the entire network. And whatever you tell it to do is precisely what it does. And you should actually start thinking, how does Bitcoin work? Anyway, now, the smart contract that we are about to introduce you to, guys, may I request that you kindly mute yourself? The smart contract that we are about to introduce you to is called Forsage. Forsage is the world's first 100% decentralized smart contract to be launched on blockchain. Now, before we look at Forsage and how we are using it to benefit ourselves, let's just go through again on the difference between a centralized and a decentralized environment. Reason being, the way we have lived our lives, basically, we are used to centralized way. So unless we shift our mind, we might lose out on a golden opportunity. The way we know, for example, if any one of you here has ever done network marketing, or you are an employee of an organization, you know that that organization has its creators, the owners, or the people who control it. And then there are people they employ to monitor the system. Then there are management decisions, whether they are good or bad, which you must abide with. And you can lose your funds. We have had people saying, oh, we were hacked, our money was cleaned out. People even lose M-Pesa. Money is hacked on M-Pesa and you lose your funds. And then you have to wait for withdrawal. For example, if you're an employee, you wait for your salary to be processed. What if the date you are supposed to be paid was a public holiday? You wait. That happens also to multi-level companies or network marketing companies. Until the company processes your payment, there's nothing much you can do. And then there's limited income. It is the company that decides what percentage of the volume you have brought in are you going to earn. And then, of course, there's limited transparency. And guys, that's what we know life to be. So we need to shift our mindset to start learning what is all this decentralization about and how can you not miss the opportunity. Obviously, in a decentralized environment, even the creators of these programs or the currencies don't have control over it, because the minute you deploy it on blockchain is gone. Number two, there are no admins needed to run. This is not a company. We are transacting with technology. It is not affected by management decisions because there is no management company. Then you cannot lose your funds. The funds literally come and sit in your personal wallet. And then they are instant payout again. They sit in your wallet. It's a peer-to-peer kind of transaction. Then there is unlimited income. And I'm going to show you particularly how this particular smart contract is helping us unlock that. And then there's 100% transparency. Remember, anything you do on blockchain, it is duplicated in all the computers. It can be verified. Records are there and anybody can see them. So there is a lot of transparency. Now, Forsage is runs on Ethereum. And just to remind you, Ethereum is an open source platform that uses blockchain technology to create and run decentralized digital applications that enable users to make agreements and conduct transactions directly with each other to buy or sell goods and services without a middleman. And this is everything, people. Okay, may I politely request that you mute yourself, please? Kindly mute yourself. Good, thank you. So yes, I was saying, what this technology is doing, it essentially is eliminating all the middlemen, such that, for example, when you do a transaction, there's no company that corrects the revenue and then decides to pay you something. No, it is, we do a transaction, money moves from me to you. By the way, Forsage does not hold any money at any one point in time. Money moves from my wallet to the person I've transacted with, and that is what decentralization basically is all about. Now, for Sage, I want you to think about it like our real estate project, where it gives us three products. And each of these products, for me, these are blocks of flats, which we are building. And this is very serious business. And we have three products. Our first block, let's call it Forsage X3. The second one, we call it X4. And the other one, we call it XGold. Now, Forsage X3 and Forsage X4 is like you buying two blocks of flats, each of them with 12 units. Because the whole idea here is to buy these units and own them. And you can only buy a unit once. And then Forsage XGold, which is our biggest product, has 15 units. You buy each one of them and you own them. Once you own them, the question then, how do you unlock value? Now, to buy, what is indicated, the numbers indicated here is the value, the cost of those units in Ethereum. For example, the first unit here is 0.025 of an Ethereum. By today's market price, that's like 5,700 shillings. The same with this one, but the second one doubles in value. So if this one is 5,700, the second one is 11,400, and it goes increasing in value such that the 12 unit or the penthouse is worth 51.2 Ethereums, which by today's market price is anything between 10.2 to 11 million Kenya shillings. So you can see the seriousness of this business. Now, let me show you how you unlock value. And on Forsage X3, you unlock value by making referral business. For Forsage X4, you can make referral business, but even if you don't, so long as the network, the global community is growing, you can come in as an investor, and over time, you're going to earn a lot of money out of this product. So let me demonstrate how that works. I will take the smallest unit of Forsage X3, and that unit is equivalent of 0.025. Anybody who will ever invest on it, they will all invest, buy it at 0.025. So let's put me here in this picture. I have already owned this unit. I bought it, I own it. Then I go and talk to my friend, let's say Uncle Migwe. I show him this business opportunity, and Uncle Migwe buys the idea and he invests. That means he will return my 100% capital that I used to invest in the product, because it's going to pay me 0.025 of an Ethereum. If the price of Ethereum at that point is even higher than when I bought, I'll even make more money. But let's just stick at the fact that one person only returns 100% of my investment. The second person, let me say I also introduced this idea to my friend Shiro. Shiro will also buy it at exactly its value, and she will pay me 100%. Notice there's no company correcting the money here and then forwarding it to me. It moves peer to peer. And then I will go and talk to my sister. My sister will also buy it exactly at the same price. But the payment from my sister, who is my third referral, will go and pay the ecosystem. And who is the ecosystem? The ecosystem is anybody who has already invested in this unit. It could be the person who referred me, or it could be you or somebody else. So that payment will go and pay, let's say, the person who invited me to this program. But what it will do is where the magic happens. It is going to give me a re-entry, which means what? It is going to clear the 3 referrals I have already made, and then it is going to avail this lot and this lot and this lot again. So I can go and refer the 4th person, the 5th person, and then the 6th person will do the same thing. So you notice with X3, every 3 referrals you make, you're going to earn 200% profit, and the third referral will give you an entry, you repeat again. And for as long as Forsage is running on blockchain, for the rest of your life, you will be doing exactly that. Take note, you only needed one person to return your 100% capital, and from there it's pure profit. The other thing to take note of is, we said the second unit is exactly the double the value of the first. So the first 2 people you bring in, they already give you enough money to buy the second unit. And why do you want to do that? Because you're going to have a lot of people coming in, investing money, also wanting to buy the higher units, because the higher units pay more. So again, Uncle Migwe will also tell me he will also want to do what I did. So I upgrade to the second unit. He comes and upgrades. He pays me my return, my investment 100%. Then my friend Shiro also does what I did. She gives me 100% profit. Now the money is even more. And then my sister, the process repeats itself. All the 12 units of X3 are going to behave exactly in that manner. Now, the other one, X4 and XGold, like I said, this also serves people who don't want to make referral business. And how does that happen? So again, this is me. I buy the unit 0.025 of an Ethereum. Then I refer Uncle Migwe. Uncle Migwe will also buy this, but you notice here, Uncle Migwe's payment will go to the ecosystem. Then my friend Shiro's payment will also go to the ecosystem. It's the same value. But I have 4 other people down here. The first 3 people who will land here, person 1, 2, 3, they will each pay me. Again, the first person returns my investment. The other 2 is pure profit. And then my 6th referral, whether I introduce them or not, will also go to the ecosystem. Now, so therefore, for me, let's say me, I refer 6 people. I have no problem passing up 3 payments to the ecosystem and retaining 3. Why? Because I understand this payment that goes to the ecosystem goes to pay anybody who has already acquired that unit. Even me, who is referring, let's say I've only referred 2 people. Somebody else goes out there and refers somebody, that person can also pay me. And actually, people have been paid in such a manner. So anybody who you invest in this product, whether on X4, whether you refer people or not, this is how the system feeds you with payment. Just like the way you take your money in the bank and you're told you'll be earning a return and your money sits there, you need to realize in the bank, there's somebody who is working that money so you can earn. And that's the whole principle. There are some of us who don't mind going out there talking to 1 million people. We don't mind, because out of that million, we might get 100,000, and we have no problem passing up 3 payments, because we are also beneficiaries of other people's effort. And therefore, you'll be able, over time, you will just be seeing people paying you. Only one person who lands here returns your capital. Anybody else who pays you is pure profit. Again, that is how all the units on X4 will benefit you. Now, the final product is what we call XGold. Now, XGold, again, the principle is the same, but you can see here, you have the first two people who will land on each of these slots. Their payment, again, will go to the ecosystem. Below the two people, we have four people. These four people, anyone who will come and land on any of these slots here, they will each pay you 20%, which means by the time you populate that line, you have recovered 80% of your investment. Below them, there are another eight people. These eight of them each will pay you 30%. Again, you make 240% of what you invested. And then below, there is another 16 people, out of which 14 will pay you each 50%, which means you get another 700%. And the last two, once you populate them, they will give you a re-entry and you start again. Now, let's just assume you invested 10,000 on these particular units. By the time you finish to populate this matrix, you will have earned 1,020%, which basically is 120,000. And remember, you don't need to go out and get 30 people. Anybody who joins this gold product, their payment always is divided into three. Somebody in the process will earn 20, another 30, another 50. So you can imagine it most probably goes and pays three people. So as people are coming, whether you're the one who referred them or not, their payments start populating you. Some pay you 20, others pay you 30, others pay you 50. Before you know it, you have finished. Assume you bought this unit at 100,000. By the time you finish to populate that matrix, ladies and gentlemen, you will have earned 1,020,000. Now, is that an investment worth making? Now that this small slide here is to show you that the community of Forsage is actually growing, and you can see in the back office we get to see the actual number of the people in the entire community across the world, and it also helps us to see the people who join the platform on a daily basis, and we are able to see how many people out of the entire community have earned. For example, when we updated this slide, the population was about 1,030,000. Right now, it's about 1,055,000 or 56,000. And you can imagine at this point, 958,000 people had earned money. They had earned over $706 billion. As of today, we have, you can see the percentage of the people earning is almost 95%. As of today, the community has earned over $1.3 trillion, ladies and gentlemen. This is such a big and huge business. Now, we have proposals on how you can get started. Remember, the whole idea is to enable you acquire all these units because you only invest one. And for the rest of your life, guys, just like you build an actual building, it will continue paying you over and over. Think about the 300,000% usage we talked about. This is going to be one of the products a lot of people are going to be attracted in. So think about when this one grows 300,000%. I don't know how much money it will have paid you. Now, you can also come in and say, I don't have money to buy all the units at the same time, so let me start small. You come and pick 7 units of each product, X3, X4, and XGold. That will require you to invest 11 Ethereums. By today's market price, that's roughly 2.4 million Kenya shillings. Or you can say, let me take 6 units of each product. That will require you to invest 6 Ethereums. That's about 1.3 million. If you take 5 units of each, you will need to invest 3.4 Ethereums, that's roughly 750K. Or if you go for 4 units of each, that you need you to invest 1.85 Ethereums, that's roughly 410,000 Kenya shillings. Remember, price can go down or go up, it's never constant. But even if, let's say you even say, fine, I don't even have the 410,000, can I still begin? Absolutely, yes. Please get back to the person who invited you and they will guide you on exactly how to begin. Now, before I finish, the one thing that you need to do yourself a favor with, which is free, is to actually right now go ahead and download yourself a wallet. Just like you have an M-Pesa wallet, it's just a matter of time. All of us will be having crypto wallets. So if you don't have any, please go to your phone and download Token Pocket. Or if you're using your laptop, please download yourself a wallet called MetaMask. That's where it begins. You start planting your seed by taking little steps. The next thing, we will give you, or the person who invited you on this call will give you a link to localcryptos.com. This is the marketplace where we buy and sell Ethereums at any point in our life. The globe never sleeps, so the market is open 24/7. And I want to say something. I like saying, today you might look at this and think, oh no, me, I don't want to invest in technology. I want to put my money in land, which is okay. But I like to tell people, sometimes it's good to think of a worst case scenario. God forbid, but suppose one day you wake up and you have a patient who needs to go to India for treatment, and you have 2 million shilling and you go to India, you're going for screening, blah, blah, blah. And then when you get to India, so many other diseases show up, like you all know they do. And now you have a bill of 10 million to pay. Now, you may be having land worth 100 million. How easy would it be for you to liquidate that land when you're still in India with your patient and pay the bill? But guys, this asset, number one, the rate at which they're appreciating, you cannot even compare with land. That's a fact, and you can check it on the charts. Number two, if I have Ethereums in my wallet and I'm in India, all I need to do is go to localcryptos.com, click I'm in India. I need to sell my Ethereums for Indian rupee, and I will instantly get a buyer who will buy my Ethereums and send me Indian rupee, and I'll pay the hospital bill, and I'll pay my accommodation, and I can afford to travel back safely. That is how serious technology is, and that is the power of technology. Then the third thing, we shall give you a link to Fossard so that you can now get started, and we move on this journey together. Now, remember, the son never waits for the king. Sometimes some of us have had opportunities, golden opportunities, just like the 1,100 people Bill Gates talked to. Only 11 of them made it. Now, you have an opportunity and you have had. Decide what you want to do with it, but don't come back 5 years later and regret that you ever did it. Before I summarize my presentation, I want to invite you to our dinner scheduled for next Saturday, 27th of March at the Sarova Panafric Hotel. The cost is only 3,000 shillings, guys. And the person who invited you on this call will extend this invitation and give you the pay bill number and the details on how to make payment. We do hope to not just see you at the dinner, but we also want you to take advantage of this event and become part of this growing movement. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. I do believe and hope you have gotten value. You can get back to the person who invited you on this call and tell them whether you are an A, you are ready to get started, and what they will do is send you all the necessary links and you get started. Or you could be a B who is like, what? I need to hear more. I need some more clarification. Please, we are here. The person who invited you is here. We will help you with that. If you think this is not for you, we respect your decision and we are grateful that you even joined us on this call. But we hope when you start using blockchain technology, you will not regret, because in the 90s, not everybody was on internet. Today, everybody is on internet. So it's just a matter of time. And that brings me to the end of my presentation. And because I am short of time, today I'm going to give one person only a chance to briefly tell us how his journey has been. And this is a person who doesn't like to talk a lot, yet he is such a mover and a shaker. And I'm going to call upon Uncle Migwi. I know, Uncle Migwi, you are on this call, and I need you to please tell us how this, what Forsage has done for you. And as he does that, allow me, I'm just going to quickly show you what has Forsage done for him. And he can tell us how long he has been here. Welcome, Uncle Migwi.
Wow. That's
We've lost you, Uncle Migwi, or is it me? I think we've lost you. Can you hear Uncle Migwi? Somebody? Is it me? Okay. Somebody, Shiro, can you confirm if Uncle Migwi is audible? Is it my net or have we lost him? Yes, we can't hear. Okay, I can see he's still, oh, he's dropped. Did he just drop? No, he hasn't dropped. He's on call. Uncle Migwe, please go ahead. Take it up. I think he has dropped. I think he has dropped. Okay. As we wait for Uncle Migwe to just come and give us his testimony, I really need you guys to hear his testimony. He's a powerhouse and he's a pace setter for all of us. As we wait for him to be back, yes, I can see he's back. Just in case you have a question which you'd want me to clarify, please feel free to type it on your chat box, but I give it back to Uncle Migwe. Unmute yourself, Uncle Migwe, and go ahead. Okay. Uncle Megwe, unmute yourself. I can
Well,
see you are on. You're on. Unmute yourself.
yes. I'm back. I don't know what happened to my internet.
Okay.
Just decided to to cut on me, but I'm glad. I was saying that if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, and that is exactly what I did on 10th when we got to hear this information. And I said, what if? And I remember that time XGold was not there. So we started with slot number 1 to 4 on X3 and slot number 1 to 4 on X4. And I remember when they were going to launch XGold, they were going to launch on that Sunday, which was on 3rd of January. And the children were going back to school on the 4th of January. And I have 4 boys, and all of them were going back to school. And guess what? I had part of the school fees, which was roughly 150,000. And I was between a rock and a very hard place, whether to buy XGold or whether to pay for the school fees. And guess what? My gut feeling told me that this is an investment of a lifetime. I needed to put this money on XGold. So I didn't even think about it. And I remember we were trying to buy those slots, to click, and the internet was so much jammed. And me, JKK, and Shiro, we went to my place, and we spent the whole night clicking. So, but come on the 4th of January, that Monday, Zacha was like, the boys are ready, they are going to school. And I had to come up with an excuse that I got a WhatsApp call that they were not to open on that Monday, but they were to open on Tuesday. Why? Because, of course, I had put the school fees on the slots, and now we were hoping that by Monday, some of the slots will be populated, because we were thought we'll be ahead of some people. So I said, no, they'll be reporting tomorrow. So we left that morning because I was going to drop Shiro. She was going back to Nyeri, and JKK was going to his house. But ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, by the time we were getting to Capital Center, I had been paid more than $1,500. That is more than 150. All the money that I had spent had come back. And I remember telling JKK we need to stop somewhere on the side so that we can cash out this money and we send it back to school. And I remember calling my wife and telling her, now, by the way, I had not seen the message properly, but do whatever you need to do. And I know some of us will hear this information and still we want to consult ourselves. Remember, the way we are programmed, our brain is programmed to cushion you from any form of loss. And anything you do not understand, whether business or whatever, your brain will be telling you, what if you lose? And remember these trio, the three brothers. One of them is called indecision, the other one is called doubt, and the other one is called fear. So when you take a long time before you decide, guess what? You attract doubt. When doubt comes in, guess what? It tells you now you're going to lose. And that is called fear. And we've seen so many of our friends miss the bus, or they just jump under the bus because of indecision, doubt, and fear. That shouldn't be you tonight. Thank you so much, Queen, for giving me an opportunity to share my story. And thank you. We will continue with this fire. We cannot stop until all our people understand that this revolution is here with us and it is here to stay. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you, Uncle Megwe. So, yes, guys, you have heard. I don't need to overemphasize, but I just want you to see 0.3. He is remaining with 1, 2, 3 slots to cycle. Did he need to introduce all these people? Absolutely not, because you can see this white box here. These are overflows from up. So you have had the testimony, you have had the presentation. Now the ball is in your court. Get back to the person who invited you on this call and let them help you get started. And let's continue to educate ourselves, guys, and educate everybody that needs to hear about this. Thank you and God bless you. Let's see you tomorrow. We'll have another presentation exactly at 8 p.m. And please, if you're a member, remember we are waiting for you to pay for the dinner and also talk to anybody you've introduced into this business to also pay for the dinner. Thank you and God bless you. See you. Oh, I have not seen any question on the chat box, so I've assumed we are good. So yes, thank you guys. Thank you.